Hi. Now, we don't need to get involved in shaping the direction of the world, but there is no way we can do that if we're walking around with false maps in our heads that over time we have come to accept as facts. Now, for most of us, all it takes is to repeat something a lot of times, and before we know it, it's stored right at the front of our minds. Now, the tragedy is, it doesn't even have to be true. It's why your friends say smoking can be that bad for you because her grandfather smoked 10 packets of cigarettes a day and lived to be more than 100 anyway. Or they know someone who always goes out without a mask to crowded places but never gets the coronavirus, and so the virus must be a hoax. Now, of course, statements like these are ridiculous. Plane crashes don't happen more frequently just because we overestimate the likelihood of being victims of one. Now, behavior scientists call this the availability bias. Our mind creates maps of reality in order to make sense and process complexity. We create a picture of the world using examples that readily come to mind. In this world, everything can be explained. Unfortunately, maps are flawed. They have always been. Therefore, it's super important to know a map's limitations, because failing to understand these limitations brings about a man with a hammer tendency. If something works well, we over-apply it, and that is as dangerous as it sounds, because it's why doctors have been found to have their favorite treatment they can apply to all possible cases, and the reason consultants turn to their more familiar method, whether it's ideal or not. Take Ron Johnson. He was one of the most successful and desirable retail executives by the summer of 2011. I mean, the guy was handpicked by Steve Jobs to build the Apple Store, and it was successful because the Apple Store eventually became the most productive in the world on a per square foot basis. Now, after all the success, Mr. Johnson was hired to turn JCPenney around, and this is where he fell prey to the availability bias. He took all his best ideas that had worked at Apple: consistent pricing, immaculate displays, great customer service, world-class products, and applied them to a department store. And lo and behold, the model didn't work. It failed spectacularly because eliminating discounting flopped. People found the new products too trendy, and the store model was wildly expensive for an average department store. By early 2013, Ron Johnson was sacked. The share price tanked, stayed there, and we all know where JCPenney is right now. Now, what went wrong was Mr. Johnson was using the same map he used at Apple to navigate JCPenney, yet the two have very little in common. So how do we get better? Because without saying that, we need to have more tools in our repertoire, but it's also equally important to understand their limitations. And spending time with people who may not share your perspective also helps. Now, let me know your thoughts, but for now, thanks for watching.